Hello guys, welcome to our YouTube channel, Hot News today. Today there's a news going around that is so disturbing, and that is about the political effect of terrorism in Nigeria. Now you see what's happening in Plateau State. Just watch and see for yourself.
Now, the scale of the killings and the destruction wrought by the gunmen who twice rampaged through Plateau State.
And we should not try to bring such to ridicule, because the beautiful part of life is that people should always appreciate what government do.
Well, people shouldn't always appreciate what government do. People appreciate government when government this week and the week before is almost unimaginable, and the grief they've unleashed unbearable. There was something so utterly vile about it as to be almost satanic. Certainly it was wicked and barbaric, and it's prompted warnings of a growing criminal impunity across Nigeria and a lack of government control. It's taken place in the midst of an expanding conflict between settled farmers and nomadic herders. But in a speech on Wednesday, Governor Caleb Mutfwang said it was no longer an isolated conflict between these two feuding groups, but it was now what he called a systematic and premeditated campaign. And he alleged that the killers had outside sponsors. In response, he's announced a ban on a number of activities, and he's called on vigilante groups to defend the land.
To restore calm and strengthen vigilance, I hereby announce the following measures effective Wednesday, April 16th. Night grazing of cattle is strictly prohibited. Transportation of cattle by vehicle is banned after 7 p.m. The use of motorcycles is restricted from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. across the state until further notice. We're also activating community-based response systems. I urge the traditional leaders and youth associations to reactivate local vigilante groups and organize night patrols in coordination with the security agencies. We must protect our communities while upholding the rule of law. Furthermore, I have mandated the newly inaugurated Interreligious Council to begin immediate engagement with all stakeholders to address the deeper issues surrounding these attacks. I shall also be appointing a special envoy on peace to lead grassroots consultations and intelligence coordination. A fact-finding committee comprising respected independent voices.
And that's Governor Mutfwang there. Well, Senator Pam Dachanyang represents Plateau North Senatorial District, where the attacks took place, and he joins me now in the studio. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you very much, sir.
First of all, our sympathies go out to you, because this massacre occurred in your senatorial district. We understand 3 suspects have been arrested. What more can you tell us about that?
Yeah, thank you very much. While I was coming from here, from Jos, I just arrived from Jos. I've not even entered my house to come here straight, because yesterday I was with the governor. We went to the sites of events together, and we saw this thing. The arrest taking place is the right thing to be done. And this unnecessary challenges of killings, it is not part of the system we want in Nigeria. As an insider, bona fide citizen of the zone, I have found the opportunity to have been able to know what has been going on. But, sorry to say, this is something that it is unnecessary. Unnecessary in the sense that we are in the 21st century, where we're supposed to be talking about development and better things, but people are crying instead of laughing. And
yeah, well, crime is a part of society, although crime on this level is particularly worrying. And while we wait to know what the motive is, I mean, they've arrested some people. I was wondering whether you could tell us what you know about what happened with this attack on Monday.
What happened, I was not in town. I went for an official engagement. outside the state. So it is when I came. Precisely, I was in Lagos. So when I heard about it, I went straight to Jos to hear about, because I lost my brother's wife. So we did a burial the day for yesterday. So with this, I went straight to see the governor to know what is going on, and I've just gotten the information. Now, about the arrest, I'm still getting more details about what is really going on, because I've not sat down to get the details.
No, I know, but in terms of the attack, what do you know about the attack?
The attack...
it's your constituency.
Yeah. This is something I get almost all the time. And this particular attack is similar to the rest of the attacks and what it's all about. In fact, if you asked, you will not even get a very good answer. Reason is because they have their own plan, what we call systematic way of trying to create fear.
Who's they?
Good. The attackers. And if I could make it more appropriately, just as I was when in the real scene, the villagers was telling us they hear real Fulfude.
That's the Fulani
language.
Right.
And they speak fluent English. So that means that there are people that are not, even within the Fulani, we know, are some people that came from somewhere. And it is very sad.
So it was a combination of speaking the Fulfulde language and speaking proper English, is what you're saying.
That is what they said. And
Right.
the real Fulani that are close to them are not that type that came.
Right.
And the worst part of it, you will not even see them again. You wonder where they ended. You look for them, they vanished, which is very painful.
But what do we know about what led to the attack? Is there any indication at all from the villagers? Was there some kind of a measure of conflict or something that led to it?
Yeah, I learned from a source that they kill a Fulani and carry the head and do whatever.
You mean the villagers?
Yeah, the villagers.
Right. They
which
killed
we
the
have
Fulani
not seen
person.
it. Yeah.
Right.
So it is like a retaliatory measure.
Right. So what were the circumstances that led to the killing of the Fulani person?
Possibly,
The alleged killing?
Possibly, as I learned, that the same Fulani who they killed encroached in one of their places. Farms.
Was he a cattle herder?
I'm not so sure,
Right.
because I've not finished my own proper
Investigation. Right,
to
okay.
get a very proper statement on it. I've not made a statement yet because I'm still getting data.
Right.
In fact, because this thing, in fact, another attack happened in my own village just the day before yesterday. So I'm trying to collect
Right.
the information before I make my own proper statement. But here today, coming here to say the truth about the matter, people are tired.
Right.
This is not the type of country we want.
But your sense is that it was a revenge attack?
Just something like a revenge, but not in that magnitude that people would expect. There is laws if something happened, that people should follow the right.
No, we know all about what people ought to do.
Yeah.
Obviously, people didn't do what they ought to do.
That's
so
the
now we need to know why they didn't do what they ought to do.
Yeah. Good. Honestly, I cannot say.
Right. The governor of Plateau State, who you were with
Yeah.
just recently, Caleb Muftwang, said that this was not random violence, nor was it an isolated incident between farmers and herders. He described it as a systematic and premeditated campaign that's aimed at displacing, destabilizing, and instilling terror and fear in communities in Plateau State. Do you agree with that assessment?
Excellently. Absolutely. What the governor said, it is the truth about what is going on. The truth about this, we are tired. As I said, Plateau State are tired. You hear one village, you go another local government, the same system.
But what I don't understand, Senator Dachunyang, is that you're a politician. You've been in that community. Yeah. You represent those communities. Yeah. And the presumption is that you would know a lot about those communities.
Yeah.
You don't seem to know what is the genesis, the provenance of these horrific attacks that absolutely shock everyone else. And the people from that community, and you represent that community, I mean, you don't seem to know what's going on there.
As I said, I'm still collecting information.
No, I understand that, but it's a historical thing, isn't it?
That if you give me time
Sure.
to tell you what is going on. In 2001, I was a personal assistant to a local government chairman when the first crisis started. We live in peace with these Fulanis. But what happened now is something else. Normally, if there is a crisis between the two other farmers or herders, there is a very special way of addressing it. You pass through the normal chiefs and whatever, they reconcile, and everybody goes home. And anybody who is wrong, either the farmers or the herders, they are penalized. But this is a different scenario. And this scenario, I am telling you nothing but the truth, it is above the normal thinking. If you see the real Fulanis that we are staying with, they will tell you a different story, that they wonder how these things are happening. Because they are still there. They are still moving normally with their cattle. But surprisingly, some people will come from the way. In fact, what the governor said, I will agree with him that it is politically motivated because they have a plan. And that plan is to grab the land.
Right.
Which I don't want to even go into details because, as I said, there are things I'm trying to get.
I understand that.
Yeah. I don't want to go where at the end of it I may be contrary, but the truth about it is that every Plateau indigene will tell you that he is not happy with what is going on because some of these things happen while you are not prepared. They come, go, and vanished. You can't get them. If you arrest one or two, tomorrow you see him back in the street. It is a painful story. I can't go into details because until I finish what I'm doing. I've given my assignment to all my aides to get me the real cause of whatever happened and let me come with a proper analysis of what is going on. But for now, I'm caught off guard.
Yeah. But are you privy to reports from the security agencies? Or at least, are you, when I mean privy, I mean, do you sit down with the governor? Because the governor obviously gets security reports.
Yeah.
So he would know if the kinds of things that you're speculating about are factual or not.
The governor has his security architecture and they give him reports. Mine, I don't have that strength, but my own information comes from my aides.
Right.
And I get information, but what I said, which affects me, I'm trying to get the genesis of certain things, which I would not like to open here. Then, and that time, I will speak the truth about what is going on. But for now, truly speaking, I'm still collecting information.
Right. I understand that.
I've not finished.
But I mean, it certainly looks to the people like us who are not there, who are sort of from the outside, as if this culture of bloodshed is becoming the new normal. I mean, beyond the sort of the big emotive words and so on that the governor used, I mean, no one seems to know what to do, which is why it is so worrying. I mean, can anyone enforce the rule of law in Plateau State?
Well,
because it just keeps happening over and over and over again.
what I always felt is the biggest problem is that those arrested are not dealt with.
They're not prosecuted.
Yes, they're not prosecuted and they still come back.
Why do you think that's the case?
Because if one or two people are prosecuted, it serves as a deterrent to others.
No, I'm saying, why do you think they're not prosecuted?
Because I can't imagine if somebody is really prosecuted, something again happen, and the same people again get them, they vanished. Anyway, let me just say something here that I would love us to enjoy. This is Nigeria. It happens in Plateau. Tomorrow we hear Benue. You hear another state, which is not what, as a Nigerian citizen, would like to be hearing.
No, obviously that. I mean, we know all that.
In fact, it is with heavy heart I'm talking here now, because what I saw,
I can imagine. I
I'm
can
not happy.
imagine. And for you particularly, because it's happening in
my
your,
zone,
in your senatorial district.
the calls are too much for me.
Yeah.
And I have not even sat down to enjoy, to tell my people, in fact, but for benefit of consumption of this opportunity, I just finished my thank you tour. My thank you tour, the 6 local governments.
Right.
There was no problem. I did not hear of any challenge.
And when you say your thank you tour,
Yes.
you won your case in court.
And I'm thanking my constituents.
Yeah, okay.
I went local government by local, and this is how I did it.
The case that confirmed you as a senator.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you. So how I did it, it is the first of its kind. I separate each local government I go. I first see the traditional rulers, then see the religious rulers, Muslims, Christians separate. Ask them of their problems. None have told me that they have this type of problem. Only either they did a place of worship, I should help them in an office. That's all. Then I went to the general people. The youth spoke, the women spoke, the elders spoke, and they gave me all they want is that dividends of democracy. There was nothing. Just a month, some weeks later, to get this type of thing. It baffles me.
Yeah,
somewhat.
of course.
And it caught me off back. I said, it means that they have been hiding certain things that I don't want me to enjoy. And I don't know what to say again because I'm tired. I'm confused. 2 days I could not sleep with my wife because I just imagine which type of society are we?
It's heartbreaking, isn't it?
I don't know what to say again.
It's heartbreaking.
It's annoying. It's annoying.
But of course, beyond the people who've been killed or injured, I expect there are quite a few people who were injured, who are who survived, who are in hospital.
Yeah.
Many more are displaced, aren't they?
Yeah.
How is the state dealing with things like emergency aid?
Yeah, the governor has just made a statement when we visited it that he's going to take care of most of them and find a solution to see how some of them will live well. In fact, he made a statement yesterday, which I feel he will back it up. Today, I'm sure he might have met his.
Yeah, but what is the condition? Because people's houses were burnt, weren't they? Destroyed, and
destroyed,
so on. What's the situation of those people?
Yeah, in fact, as we went there yesterday, we saw them in a particular place. We'll talk to them to be patient. We'll see what we can do about it. Like me, per se, as a senator representing the zone, I've just informed my aides to get the data, particularly those in the hospitals, because they are in different places. Then, as I came here today, by tomorrow I was to get back to the community, to see those in the hospital, to know what I can do.
What about the national emergency system? Has that kicked in?
Yeah, I don't know. I've not found out that. As I told you, I'm getting reports.
Right.
That report will give me the full hope to speak. But for now, truly speaking, there are things that I still cannot say.
Right. Obviously, there are things that are important,
Yeah.
which is that those who are alive that are in hospital must get treatment.
Yeah, that's true.
Those who are displaced must be put up somewhere and looked after.
Yeah.
That is of the utmost priority.
That's correct.
But another absolute priority is that there must be security deployments in those areas to ensure that this does not happen again, certainly not in the near future. Are you seeing any evidence of significant deployments, military, police reinforcements? I understand the Inspector General of Police ordered a large contingent of police to be sent to Plateau State, but I wonder if you're seeing evidence of that on the ground. You're just coming from Plateau State.
Yes, I saw it. The IG was with us yesterday. We saw the police that were deployed to those various areas. Yeah, physically they're there. In fact, I'm happy and I'm appreciating the president who responded in that manner. And that shows that, yes, he has the people at heart.
Does what it's supposed
Yes.
to do. You don't just appreciate government when they're not doing what they're
But in
supposed
this
to.
magnitude,
Which is why we're asking you these questions.
Yeah.
Now, the governor announced a number of measures, including the prohibition. He said it on this program, including the prohibition of night grazing of cattle, the banning of the transportation of cattle after 7 p.m., the restriction of the use of motorcycles from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. across the state, and the activation of what he called community-based response systems, including local vigilante groups. Does that seem like an adequate response to you, or do you think more needs to be done?
Yeah, I think with all these measures, what I would advise or even add more is to always, people should be vigilant, suspecting people they don't know.
Right.
And that, it has been happening. Somebody, even the headers themselves should always find out those that they don't understand to report immediately. Harboring somebody because of one way or the other, it is another problem.
Yeah, but who do they report to? If there is no physical presence of police or the army or whatever, who do they report to? How do they ensure that reinforcements get
The police
there?
are there. They don't just want to. The police are there. The truth about it is police are in everywhere in Plateau State. Since the crisis started, they are there. The people just don't want to go there. That's the truth. The police are there. And I will not be able to be biased here. The police are there. They don't just want to go there. Let's be sincere.
So what were the police doing when these massacres were taking place?
The problem with the...
If the police are there.
What I'm saying, I'm talking about the report. If you see somebody you don't understand, you report. But sometimes the people don't report. That is the annoying part of it. The police are ready. And sometimes when the police are ready to go, you know, the normal problem is that they will give you complaints. That number one, they don't have fuel. I remember I called one.
So it's so pathetic.
It's annoying.
It is so pathetic.
But they are there.
Isn't it?
They will tell you there's no fuel, there is no this. I said, why? I remember I called in 2022, I called one of them, then I say, oh God, you know, there's no fuel, the vehicle is never broken. And when you get there, truly speaking, you see the vehicles are not in good shape.
Yeah, it's a pity. But, I mean, we're almost out of time. What about the deeper issues that apparently surround these attacks, which the governor also mentioned? I mean, what are those deeper issues and what's the best way to address them, briefly?
Well, the truth about it is the people are always in fear now. And they always feel, in fact, there are tendencies that if you say something which is normal, reporting, tomorrow you are being attacked. You wonder how. It means that there are insiders somewhere that always give the people those enemies. I call them enemies, the criminals. I call them criminals. There are no, in fact, if you look at the magnitude of this, it's no more headers or headers and farmers clashes. This is criminals. They just came to do their. As I said, I still have a lot to bring together. Let me get the detail of certain things before.
Okay.
But the government is trying. They're trying. In fact, they're trying.
I want to thank you very much indeed. Senator Pam Dachunyang represents Plateau North Senatorial District, where the attacks took place. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.